Try to get questions for Coach Dawson.
Coach, just looking back at film, how do you think Keon managed football?
I thought he managed it really well. I mean, we had that one turnover that was, probably the biggest negative of the game. But we had 2 turnovers, but I'm saying that he had one of them. And so, other than that, I mean, he managed it well. I mean, we were, when we started opening it up and throwing it a little bit, I thought he was on the money, very accurate. And in the run game, the reads were good. Looked comfortable out there, and so I was very pleased with his performance.
With Keon being so, I guess he's a streaky type of guy. He throws pass, he completes a lot. How important was it to get that opening pass to there to, number one, just it seemed like it got him going for the rest of the game?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I think that, over the past couple of weeks, I just think that you could see Keon's comfort level. I think it kind of relaxed a little bit. I think the way the season has played out so far, sometimes when you sit back and look and you watch for a little while, things kind of settle down for you, and you kind of figure out, okay, you start tinkering with things and figure out good and bad. And so, but I do think having success early right there on that one throw, obviously to the tight end. It was important.
You talked about the reads. Did it seem like he found an open guy?
Yeah, he did. I mean, throughout the course of the day, the second half, I thought he was, 15 or 20, whatever it was. Very high completion percentage. So
He was like 11 of 12 in the second half.
Yeah.
Were you guys aware of that, or was he?
Yeah, at halftime, that was, we got to halftime, and basically that was my deal at halftime. It's like, look, we're playing good, we're running the ball good, we need to take some shots. We need to open up a little bit, and so we went out there the first drive, and we just started throwing it a little bit more, not a lot more, but we just needed to open it up a little bit, and then he started. Obviously he was making good throws, and then we just kind of relaxed and just started playing ball.
Have you ever been? It wasn't that long ago that USM had a string where they scored on 3 consecutive offensive stops. Yeah. But have you ever?
I can't remember ever doing it, to be honest with you. And I didn't even know it happened that game until Sunday. Really, I forgot who told me about it, and I was trying to think of the 3 plays, and then obviously the 2 of the plays were easy, and it just so happened that we had a short field a couple times too, which helped. But I don't think I've ever scored on 3 consecutive plays. No.
At the beginning of the game, you had the throwback, and then you had the 2 plays around the end. Was that something you saw on film before the game you saw would be open, or was that something that you saw as the game started and they lined up? You're like, oh, this is open.
No, I knew it. I knew the first handful of plays going into the game. I knew what we were going to run. The day. Typically the last couple of days of the week, I formulate the first drive. And so I knew what the first play was going to be, and then obviously I knew what the next couple were going to be, and then eventually we were going to throw that seam. I didn't know exactly how they were going to line up down there, but when they lined up, I knew we had a pretty good chance.
Back on the offensive line, how much did that help?
More than people know. I think that more than people know. Dorbeck played, in my opinion, a very, very solid game. The long run to Ito, really you could account him for that, because in that specific scheme, it's very hard for a tackle with quick motion and stuff, to see a weak box and turn back and block on the end. I'll be honest with you, I don't know if I've had a lot of tackles that did that in that specific deal, because we had quick motion where the box is going to change a little bit, and then technically we're telling him to push, right? But he didn't. He saw a weak box and he countered back on the guy and sealed it off, which, that guy's going to make a tackle. If he doesn't do that, the guy makes a tackle. And so really he got the play started, and Ito obviously ran for 80 or whatever, but I'm telling you, that was a very headsy play by him.
I think he also, on the flea flicker, he was sealing things off. There was a guy that was in hot pursuit, and he did. He kept him from getting to Keon, and then you guys lined him up at H-back a couple times, and it was.
Yeah, he had a good game. It was good to have him back. Put it that way.
Well, then, and also talk about Jerry going to right tackle and Ty going inside to right guard, that was.
Yeah, I just thought, after evaluating, on last Sunday, that, we were getting Drake back, and I kind of went back and evaluated our O-line as a whole, the first few games. And I just felt like making that move was the best moving forward to give us a chance to win. Jerry's a very athletic guy, and Drake's a very athletic guy, and I think we needed some size and presence in the middle, and so it just made sense to me to make that move. And so made that move on Sunday. Ty bought into it, played great, played really good at guard, and was very physical inside. And so I thought that, I really did think that moving forward, that gave us the best opportunity to be successful up front.
Is that an easy transition from right tackle to right guard?
It was easy for him, I don't know necessarily, because he didn't have a lot of reps at that position. I didn't have any reps at that position until Sunday, or Monday night. And so Ty's a smart football player, and so, I don't know if you do that with just anybody, but with him, I felt good about it, and I think that the biggest deal to me with moves like that is kids have to buy into it, and kids have to buy into, look, this is the best for the unit. It's not necessarily what's best for you at certain times, not necessarily what's best for me, and to his credit, he bought into it and played hard, played well, and eventually, gave us a chance to be successful.
I assume that's the recipe going forward. You're gonna keep
It is. You got to have plans for in case somebody gets nicked up. But ultimately, I think, like I said, that gives us the best chance. And I thought those 5 guys out there, to be honest with you, looked really good at times. And so,
for Keon, just making his first start in 3 games, how big was that for his confidence to come out and play like the way he did?
I think it was huge. This game is really, in any athletic game, is a confidence-driven deal. If you're not confident, then you're not gonna play well. It doesn't matter what your skill sets are. He definitely has the skill sets. I think everybody knows that, and so I do think that he needed to go out and have some success, and he did. And his confidence right now is very high, and so it's like anything else. A lot of times belief is the key. And so right now he believes, and we just gotta keep moving forward and keep doing the things we did last week to put us in position to be successful.
On his long run, on the first drive, when he took what would have looked like a premature slide, was that a heady play on his part?
I think so.
You think?
Yeah. You want to, in my opinion, try to minimize the number of hits you take anyway. And when you know that they're closing down on you, just live to play another day. Knowing the journey's over. The journey was over, boys. I don't know if y'all watched it, but the journey was over.
Going forward, what are we looking at in terms of the quarterback now?
Well, right now, I think Hop alluded to that when he talked to you guys, is that, going into that game, the decision I really had to make is, do you play with a 60% Quadre or 100% Keon? There's no doubt that the right thing was, and then Keon was playing well the last couple of weeks, so it made the decision really easy. Quadre could have played for sure, but he would have been limited. That's true too. And so, right now, Keon's the healthy guy, and he's playing well. And so we're going to do, at that position, like I told y'all really at the beginning, is we're going to be selfless. We're going to do what's best to win the game. And those guys are going to support each other, I can promise you that. And I don't care really who's in the game. I feel extremely confident that if either one of those guys are in the game and they're being confident and they believe and the people around them believe, we can win, And so, but right now, Keon is the guy it's going to go out there and play right now. We don't have the situation where 2 guys are battling on even footed right now,
Yeah.
Defensively, UTEP, anything changed in that Western Kentucky game?
Schematically, it looked like it was pretty similar to what they've been doing. But ultimately, what we were talking about before is probably true. They went out there with a certain level of belief and played hard. I think that, you know, heck, they had a chance to win the game at the end, you know. And so I do think you're facing a motivated group, you know, for whatever reason. I mean, I'm not sitting in that team room or sitting in that locker room, but all I can go off of is what I see on film. And they played like a very motivated group Saturday. And so, I mean, like everything else, I mean, people are going to figure it out when they play us. Put it that way, you know. And in this league, you better be ready to play. I think you can see that all across the league. You know, if you're not ready to play, then you're going to get beat. And so, whether you win or lose, you better put that behind you. And now it's time to move on to the next week. We have one game a week, and then if we don't prepare well, then you know we're not going to be successful. If we do, and we focus, and we do the things that we stress on a day in and day out basis, then we'll put ourselves in position to be successful.
Talk about the flea flicker. That looked like an old fashioned, just kind of hand it back to the guy and
Yeah.
let it fly.
No doubt. You know, you worry about protection on those deals because their D-line, you know, their D-line's very good. And so we challenged our guys really, I mean, because on that specific play, we got really fullbacks on the ends. You know, they got some help, but, you know, it's max protect. So, you know, we challenged our guys to battle on specific plays. That was one specific play that throughout the course of the week, I made a point that, look, man, this could be a very successful play or it could be a debacle. You know what I mean? So I mean, it was when you run plays like that, it's a high risk, high reward deal, and so we executed it. Phenomenal throw too. I mean, Quez goes through there and hits him in stride. So sometimes those things don't work out the way you planned, but you know, fortunately that one did.
And in the scheme of things, I mean, that was huge for you guys.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I think that put us up 2, right? And so, I mean, gave us a little bit of, we needed every point. Obviously, you know, you could see towards the end we needed every point we could get. So that definitely helped.
What do you see out of UTEP defensively?
Schematically?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they do a lot of stuff. They disguise a lot of stuff as far as in the back end. So they're going to give you 3 or 4 different looks in the back end. If you look at, you know, throughout the course of their season, you know, you can tell that it's not the same every week as far as just, okay, we're going to play this coverage. You know, they go in and they're going to disguise things a different way every week, so they're going to have a certain plan versus every team. And it's the same way up front. A lot of moving parts, a lot of guys, really, if you watched it last week, a lot of guys flying around. You know, I mean, they blitz a good bit. You know, they're gonna gap things out in the run game, and so, you know, that's a lot like every defense, really. I mean, you know, every defense is kind of schemed up to stop the run and kind of confuse you in the secondary. So that's basically what they do too.
Anything else? Okay, go ahead.
Just real quick, who gets the ball first? Do you hand off to Ito or?
Yeah,
Oh,
you hand it to Ito and then, or you talking about on the flea flicker?
Yes.
Yeah, you hand it to Ito and then Ito flips it back to the quarterback and then hopefully you have time to get it off. Like I said, doesn't always happen.